Hey makeup friends, today I'm going to be sharing with you 3 looks using the new Surge palette from Blend Bunny, and of course I'll be sharing my thoughts on it with you as well. Let's get into this. As always, I want to start off by welcoming you back to my channel, or if you're new here, then hello and welcome. My name is Kara, and on my channel, we like to mix beauty, brains, and the occasional F-bomb. Now, I'm not going to do a huge preamble today. We're just going to get right into the details of the palette, as well as my experience purchasing it as a Canadian, and then we'll hop into the eye looks. So if you haven't seen it yet, here is the palette, and then on the inside, there are 30 shades. So you have 18 mattes, a row of cream shimmers, and then also a row of neon matte shadows as well. So it retails for $43 US. It's available for purchase on the Blend Bunny website, which I will link down below. So I have to say, for 30 shades, $43 US is a pretty good deal. That's just a little bit over $1 a shade, nothing really to complain about. However, if you are Canadian, there are additional things to take into consideration. So not only the exchange rate, but just going to refer to my emails here for the exact figures. I paid the $43 US for the palette itself. Shipping was $36.56 US. So just to purchase the palette from the website cost me almost $80 US. Translate that into Canadian, and this is close to $100. Now, the customs fees are additional. So I was hit with $26.33 for customs/duties. So this palette cost me a very pretty penny when you put all of those things together. Luckily, I am very happy with it, so I really don't have any buyer's remorse. And as I will mention later on in this video, I actually did go back and purchase their original Blends palette as well, even though shipping and customs take it to the next level in terms of cost. But I'm very, very happy with this palette, particularly with the mattes, which we will get into as we get into the eye looks. So let's take a look here. Like I said, you have 30 shades to play around with, 6 of which are neons, which I think is a really fun addition when you see how deep and grungy the other shades are. I think it's perfect for basically any time of year, because with those neon shades in there, you can really brighten it up for summer, but with particularly this row of really deep, moody mattes, you can really ground it for a very autumnal/winter appropriate look. I'll use appropriate in Air Bunnies. I really like the unique choice of colors that they have in here. So you've got green, but it's all in this like more murky sort of algae green, if you will, rather than like a bright Kelly green. Even the forest green has like a really deep, almost olive kind of element to it. It just makes it a bit of a unique undertone. Likewise with the reds that we've got going on here, it's a very strongly pink kind of red, but that plays really nicely with the neons that are in here, pulls out the red undertone of this shimmery, almost like a deep fuchsia kind of color, and really plays up with the maroon. Now with the eye look that I'm wearing today, I do mention this further on in the video, but it bears repeating. So this one here, it looks like a really deep brown shade, but it has a really strong warm undertone to it. So once it's blended onto the eyes, it does look like a really, really deep maroon kind of shade, deeper than the one beside it, but not quite a true brown. So I just want to bring that to your attention. Now, when I apply this eye look in this video, I'm going to talk about all 3 finishes and my experience with them. So I'm not going to repeat that here. So why don't we just get straight into the eye looks? All right, so if you've watched any of my 3 looks using one palette videos, I typically just set all 3 looks to music. I don't bother with like voiceover or anything like that because I find that they're fairly self-explanatory. I show you what shade I'm using, you see me apply it. I don't really feel like there's much more that I can add to that. But for today's video, I'm going to walk you through the first eye look, and then we'll set the other 2 to music. The other 2 are going to be much more is intricate the word to use? I'm not entirely sure. They're more colorful. They're certainly more like fun and punchy. For this look, I want to keep it more like quote unquote office appropriate. So I'm going to use an albeit very colorful palette to create a rather neutral toned down look. So that's what I'm going to do. while I do that, I'll talk to you about the 3 different finishes that are going on in here and my thoughts on those. So first up, I'm going to use this shade here called Cutout. I'm going to use that as a transition shade. All of the brushes that I'm going to use for this look are all from What's Up Beauty. I have talked about them before. They did send me the brushes in PR, but I really like these brushes, so I've pulled all, I think there's 6, yes, 6 in the set, so I pulled all 6. Not sure we're going to use all 6, but we're just going to use What's Up Beauty brushes. I already have my eyes primed. I used the new Milk Makeup Hydro Grip Eye Primer, and then I set it with a bit of Laura Mercier Translucent Setting Powder. I have mentioned in other videos, I do find that I need to set that primer down with some powder, or else the shadows just get a little bit bunchy, especially in the crease, like the real deep fold of my eye. They just kind of won't blend over that place, and I get little like bald spots. So smoothing everything out with a little bit of powder beforehand makes a big difference, but it does help the shadows to blend nicely. So you may be able to see, like in that really, like the deepest part of the crease, you can see where the shadow bunches a little bit. Having the powder down does help to minimize that, but it does still occur a bit, so I just have to be aware of it while I'm blending so that I can smooth it out as best I can. It's not happening so much on this eye, more so on the other. That could just be the result of my like anatomy, because I don't have symmetrical eyes. This one has like 2 littler folds. This one has 1 really deep fold, so that could be creating the difference there. But overall, these eyeshadows themselves do blend very nicely, and there is really no patchiness in these eyeshadows. It's just the base underneath it can create a little bit of bunchiness. So I'm going to leave that for now, move on to another brush. This one is the R105, and let's see, I want to keep this fairly neutral, but it's going to be on the warmer side. So I'm going to pick up the shade Juicy, this nice matte orange, and I'm going to put that into the crease. I'm going to do an all matte look. I'm starting to really like the way all matte looks look. And historically, I've not been as big of a fan of them, but they're growing on me at this point. So I'm going to shove that in here, and I will say these matte shadows from Blend Bunny, they did not come to play. They pack a punch, they blend beautifully, they layer nicely with each other as well, and I'm just wildly impressed with this palette. Like I really, really am, particularly the mattes. The neons, I'm not going to use neons in this look, although you will see me in the other looks using them. The neons are a little bit more finicky, so even though they are a matte finish as well, whatever the difference in the formula is that is required to make a neon shadow neon, it just makes them a little bit more fussy to work with. So I do find that laying down an eyeshadow primer, not necessarily this one. I don't find that this one really like grips the pigment and makes the shadows look more vibrant. I prefer to use my Gerard Cosmetics Clean Canvas base. I find that that like really grabs the pigment and punches up those neons. So that's what I would suggest doing. And in one of the looks, you'll see I tried to lay down the neon green, and then I had to put like the white Clean Canvas base primer down on top of the green shadow and then build it back up again from there, because it was sort of like the pigment was just kind of moving around on top of itself. I haven't experienced that at all with any of these other matte shades, just with the neons. So I think it's just whatever the formula is, maybe there's more of like a white base within the pigment to make it neon. I'm not entirely sure, but you just have to work with them. They're not like super frustrating or super disappointing, but there's a little bit of a learning curve, and just go into it knowing that applying a base is really going to help. Even some concealer, just going to really help punch up those pigments. But as you can see with this matte, these babies blend. They blend nicely. Now, because I want this to be a bit more of a neutral look, I'm going to go in with this deep brown shade right over here and apply that into the outer corner. This one is called Grunge. And this palette, where it really shines is in these deep dark mattes. The first time I applied one, I applied the shade Taboo, which is this like really deep maroon kind of color. I almost dropped my brush. Like I was just like, whoa, pigment. They are impressive. So these ones build up so nicely, and there's really no patchiness to them at all. And that is ideal for a deep shade. You don't want to have to spend forever building it up, blending it out, building it up, blending it out. Like I want it on, but it has to be blendable. What? Has to be blendable. And these ones most definitely are. See what I mean? Like it just blends so smoothly. There are no like patchy areas at all. It blends into that orange really nicely, creates a nice little like ombre effect there. Like it just blends so nicely. These are such nice shadows to work with. Now this is going to be an all matte look. Obviously, I have used the shimmer shadows as well. Not my favorite, I will say that. So they remind me of the Glamlight formula, where they're very pliable in the pan, almost wet, not, but almost like it has that mushy sort of texture to it. It's not crumbly, it doesn't fall apart, but if you press down, you'll leave an indent in the pan. And what I find with that kind of texture is that it's just a little bit harder to pick up on a brush, and it's a little bit harder to build up the intensity on the eyes. So I find that using my finger is the easiest way to work with these. Once they're on, I don't find that there's a lot of fading throughout the day or a lot of creasing, but it's just getting it onto the eye and getting it to the intensity that you want it to be at. That can be a little bit tricky. So in this particular palette, there's only 6 shimmers. They all have that same kind of texture where they're just a little bit, if I can show you, like they're just a little bit mushy in the pan. You can see it moving around under my finger. It doesn't fall apart, and like it picks up really nicely, but I find that when you're using a brush, the brush just kind of skims over the surface of it. So not a massive complaint, because like I said, they pick up nicely, and once they're applied, they stay in place, but just something to be aware of so that if you're using this palette, you kind of have an expectation of how it's going to perform based on how you try to apply it. Okay, so I'm aware of how much I've been talking, and I'm aware that I have 2 other eye looks to share with you, plus the intro outro portion of this video. So I'm just going to speed through the rest of this particular eye look. I'm just going to put like a matte light colored shade on the inner portion, run that dark brown under the lower lash line, and then do some winged liner. So we'll speed through that, and then we'll get on to the next 2 looks.
Did you ever stop and think, why spend too much time just getting ready? Let me be honest, I don't know a single thing that I haven't done to make you notice me. Let me be real here. When I see you, my heart starts racing, but I don't know if I like this chasing and playing and waiting around. It's a shame that my hands start shaking all of the time when you're around me. But this time, girl, I know what's bothering me. I need somebody to love. Oh, nah, 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 nah. Don't you see what's wrong with me? I need somebody to love. Oh, oh, nah, nah. I don't know what I could say to convince you to hang around when you don't have to. There's so much that I'm still keeping to myself, 'cause you don't listen, babe. But still you got me missing you. When I see you, my heart starts racing, but I don't know if I like this chasing and playing and waiting around. It's a shame that my hands start shaking all of the time when you're around me. But this time, girl, I know what's bothering me. I need somebody to love.
So there we go. There are the eyes done on the first look. I will say it turned out more like purple slash burgundy than I expected it to, looking at the shades in the pan. That brown definitely has a very warm undertone to it. I'm not mad at it. I think it's really pretty. It's definitely flattering, this color on my eye color, but I thought it was going to be more true brown. So just throwing that out there, but I like it. I think it's very pretty. On my lips, I'm just using one of the lip balms from Rare Beauty. This one's in Nearly Neutral, just a little sample that I have, but I think it's really pretty. It's like a My Lips But Better kind of situation. So there we have it. I've shared my thoughts on the shadows. So let's just move into the next two looks.
In and out of love, never get enough. We never seem to get older. When things are going right, you seem to have the time. But when it's hard, you just grow cold up. We should be good, but we keep lighting fires. The words repeat, cause we're scared of the silence. We should be good, but we keep lighting fires, fires around ourselves. We should be good, but we keep lighting fires. The words repeat, cause we're scared of the silence. We should be good, but we keep lighting fires, fires around ourselves. It's deja vu. Memories come back when I'm with you. It's deja vu. Memories come back when I'm with you. Been here 1,000 times. Set up a stage of lies. Say we're done, say it's over. Shouldn't be coming back, but somehow we connect. Acting drunk even though we're sober. We should be good, but we keep lighting fires. The words repeat, cause we're scared of the silence. We should be good, but we keep lighting fires, fires around ourselves. We should be good, but we keep lighting fires. The words repeat, cause we're scared of the silence. We should be good, but we keep lighting fires, fires around ourselves. It's deja vu. Memories come back when I'm with you. It's deja vu. Memories come back when I'm with you. Keep lighting fires. The words repeat cause we're scared of the silence. We should be good, but we keep lighting fires. We keep on talking and talking, talking and talking. Memories come back when I'm with you. It's deja vu. get you under my skin and right back to where we've been. Ooh, nah, nah. Give me a sign and tell me when to begin. Cause every time we leave I'm longing back to the place where the lights go down. Just you and I leaving out the rest. Oh, so that I need is you in my bed. Give me a sign more than in your head. Lonely together at its best. Oh, let me know now. Let me know now, now, now. Give me a sign. Let me know now, now, now. Let me know now. Let me know now, now, now. Give me a sign. Let me know now, now, now. I never needed love until I saw and I met your eyes. That's why I'm moving close to be here and to get you under my skin and right back to where we've been. Give me a sign and tell me when to begin. Cause every time we leave I'm longing back to the place where the lights go down. Just you and I leaving out the rest. Oh, so that I need is you in my bed. Give me a sign more than in your head. Lonely together at its best.
So there you have it, guys. Those are the 3 looks that I've created for you for this video. I will say that I have used this several more times than what I've done just for this video. This is a palette that has been in heavy rotation, even for everyday office looks. I just find that having those really deep matte shades really help to ground everything else that's going on in this palette. And I just think it's so beautiful. It's actually just really fun to work with, particularly the matte shades. I'm just blown away with how densely pigmented they are, but how easily blendable they are as well. So this is a palette that I am very happy about. High cost of shipping and import fees notwithstanding. I'm excited to get my hands on the Blends palette as well, and I'm also very excited to see what Blend Bunny comes out with next. So there you have it, guys. With all that said, I'm going to wrap the video up here. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch, and I will see you in my next one. Until then, just be a decent human being. Bye for now.